You guys didn't expect this. I am playing, of course, one of the classics. Now you know what the music of this is. Now this is an interpolation, so fair use YouTube. This is a orchestral cover of the castle theme of Super Mario World. So YouTube, you cannot ding me for this because it is a cover. It's an interpolated. I used to use that. Anybody that a big hip hop fan knows that if you replay some of the music, as long as you give credit, which I'm giving credit, somebody covered this orchestral theme for Super Mario World. Now, DP, why are you bringing up Super Mario World? Well, we're talking tech. So I felt the need to do a small, well, not real long, but somewhat of a good section on one of our favorite games. Um, the reason what caused me to decide to go this route 2:30 in the morning on December 10th. I'm up late and I was thinking about the direction on how I wanted to make this channel more interactive and better for the listeners, better for you guys. Because I know it takes some time out of your day to sit there and listen to me ramble about technology. And alongside a lot of my stories. I hope you guys have been tuning into the story time. But I watched the Super Mario movie. I watched the Super Mario movie on Netflix. It finally came out. I was going to pay for it and rent it on Amazon, but I got about 5-6 different streaming platforms, of course. And, you know, I knew it was going to be pretty good. I don't know the way things are going. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of suspected that it was gonna be some funny time stuff where I had to kind of, brief my kids and stuff like that, And I wanted to make sure that what my son was watching was gonna be on code. So, but we sat and we watched it. And you know what? I was really, really impressed. I was really, really impressed. I'm gonna go a direction that's gonna be a little surprising. But with the Super Mario movie, I really didn't see any hidden messages. I'll say that. I didn't see any BS really too much. Me and my wife, we watched it. My son, he kind of watched a little bit of it. And one thing I would like to say is I really appreciated, and of course they were going to have the lush and very colorful palette. I mean, it was everything I hoped for. I always wondered as a kid, when are they going to make a Mario movie? When are they going to make a Mario movie? Because I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 82. When are they going to make a Mario movie? And now I see why they waited and waited and waited and waited. And it actually kind of reminds me of the Nintendo Switch. Shout out to my homie Titan. He gifted me with a Switch. I was going to buy a Nintendo Switch at some point. I figured my son might want to play with it. And then, I feel like a kid sometimes. And it's been sitting around for months and months and months. But I bought a bunch of games like Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. It was like 5 or 6 different games in one game. I do miss the cartridge consoles, so I enjoyed that. He gave it to me. I cleaned it up, put my password in it and all that kind of stuff. And, I bought maybe 5 or 6 games. It's been kind of sitting around for a minute, but the Super Mario movie kind of reminds me of the new Super Mario Brothers that's on the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, y'all know my policy, especially with black folks, specifically black men. I don't think we should be spending too much time with video games because time is short and we need to be spending more time being productive. We don't need, but however, when you got some downtime, extreme stress or whatever. My issue with the gaming is, as much as I love them, the Xbox, all that stuff, it's hard for me to learn how to uh, appreciate some time off. That time off, like I figure I could be hanging out with my son. I could be working on a new project. Um, I could be doing this right here. So it's really hard for me to take out my personal time beyond 35, 40 minutes at a time to sit in front of the game, because I feel like there's a lot more that I need to be doing and could be doing, and I'm not getting paid to play games. But one thing I will say is, we sat there and we watched that Super Mario. Man, we sat there and we watched that Super Mario movie, and from front to back, we were at the edge of our seats. Um, I think I forgot that Mario was some plumbers. Let's get some music going, y'all. Let's get some music going, cause I feel kind of. Let's get some kind of music going here. Let's get some. I hope I don't get dinged on it. That's the thing about YouTube. I be wanting to play stuff way in the background and whatnot, and I be worried about getting dinged, and it's kind of like, well, damn, I'm not. But I understand. I understand. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's get some music going. I gotta get something going, because I just feel like I'm about to not necessarily fall asleep, but let's put some Cooking Soul on here. Let's put some Cooking Soul Volume 3 on here. We'll play it in the background. Shout out to Cooking Soul. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. We are just using this as a background for education, right? So getting back to this Mario review, we watched it. I didn't see anything that was nothing that really brought my spidey sense up where I was like, what's going on here? I didn't see anything. The only thing that my wife pointed out at the very beginning is, she was like, man, she says, I noticed, she said, when Mario went to go fix some work or something, they had a black woman, and she was like, uh-oh, she said, there goes that woman empowerment stuff. She's real keen to that stuff. She's like, oh, there goes that woman empowerment BS, where they give the black woman a lead role, and of course she has a dog, either the dog or the cat lady. So, but other than that, like I say, there was nothing. I'm not reaching, it's just something that she noticed. She kind of tapped me like, uh-oh, what are they trying to say here? But, other than that, man, there wasn't really nothing we seen that was like, and in fact, you know what? My daughter was like, hey, Super Mario, she just brought it up. She's like, Super Mario was created by the Japanese. I said, yes, it was. Yes. And so just pointing out the racial element. We never really thought about that as kids. We just looked at Super Mario. I never really even, it came across my mind too much. As I got older, I knew like, okay, this is, Mario, Mamma Mia. I knew they was Italian. But I never really sat back and thought about that and said, well, these are Japanese. Why didn't the Japanese make something of their own image? But I can understand. They probably said, well, look, this is more palatable on American society and global society. Let me just put this white dude in front of the world. Let me design this. I'm not going to design nothing so-called Asian. I'm just going to design something, that'll be it'll be an easier sell. So they probably figured, well, we'll just code switch this in, and look, Nintendo killed it. They killed it. I mean, they made billions of dollars. So I can't knock it. I can't knock it. I get it. Now, the other racial element that I thought about, I was like, oh, they're plumbers. I forgot that they were plumbers. I know y'all probably looking at me like, okay, this dude's a jackass. You should know, because I was like, yeah, I said they were plumbers. I forgot that they were plumbers. That's how disconnected I've been from the Mario culture, even though I grew up in it. I forgot that they were plumbers. And so they were sitting around the dinner table discussing with their parents, and Luigi, I forgot that Luigi was Mario's brother, of course. That shows how much of a fan I am. But they were sitting around the dinner table, and I guess Mario eventually went to his room, and I'm like, damn, Mario kind of old as hell. He still live home with his parents. And my wife was like, in Italian culture, that's something that is common. That's an Italian culture thing where they'll stay with their parents until they get married. That's all. Oh, okay. So they showcase the Italian family values. And here's the overall point. I wasn't just watching it just from an entertainment standpoint. When I analyzed that narrative, if you were to look at this movie and you were to say, okay, was their culture and their race, their ethnicity, were they represented in the right way? And I would say, yeah. There's really nothing I would say watching that movie. If I was an Italian, I wouldn't say like, oh, you making me look janky. You know, a lot of times with black folks, when we watch movies, man, we can't really watch too many movies. I think there's one cartoon on Netflix, A Love Story. I can't remember the name, but I heard some good things about that. There's not too many things that we can watch where it gets straight detrimental. Whether it be the drugs or whether it be the prostitutes or it be the gangbang or whatever, you know, it'll be something, or it will be where they don't want to show a black nuclear family. They want to show some deviant sexual behavior. There's very, very few things that we can watch and we could actually sit down with our children, kind of like when you watch the Cosbys. And the same thing with video games too. A lot of times there's not too many images, like this whole new thing they were talking about with the Grand Theft Auto thing. It looks amazing. It looks very real. And then it shows a bunch of twerking and hood rat behavior and all that, and it looks like it's in Miami. So the way that we're depicted, there's a lot of stuff we can do to modify and change that. But when it comes to like the mainstream and the corporate structure, yeah, we get the short end of the stick. Far as when you look at culture, there was a guy, and this is pertinent here. If there was a movie called American Me, where it was some Mexican folks that they felt like they were depicted the wrong way, and some folks got hurt over that movie. So my point is another thing I watched a couple weeks ago, last week, I watched Schindler's List. If you look at all the people involved, they made sure that their folks, that their image and their narrative was pushed in the light that was going to be respected of their people, because they knew they had to go back home, and they know they had to go back in their communities, and they would have to answer to somebody. So what I'm saying is, looking at this Super Mario movie, that is a good case study for black folk to look at, far as the images and the narrative. When we watch stuff and when we look at video games, technology, whatever the case may be, yeah, we want to have stuff that we could watch that is the narrative that we want to see, a constructive and a productive narrative that we want to see. So, like I say, it was the perfect image. It was the perfect image. They embodied Mario Kart. I love that. Yoshi's Island. And you know, these games and stuff like that meant a lot to us. But as kids, you get programmed. Being black in IT, being black, this technology here is pertinent. We get programmed at an early age. We get programmed at a very, very early age on the stuff we want to see. On the stuff we see. A lot of times, unless it was like back in the day, of course, we had the ratings. We had the rated R, you had the PG-13, PG, whatever like that. Like if it was something that was rated R, our parents would kind of vet it. They'd sit down and they watch it. There was only so much that they could show on TV, or if you had to watch something that's rated R, or it was a sex tape or something crazy, you had to go get that. Now you have, it might be a sexy red or a city girls video, or it'd be something crazy that comes straight on YouTube, and it's kind of like rated R. So yeah, you could kind of watch. You could try to watch if it ain't YouTube Kids, if they can't play that. But you have to actually go on the Netflix, or you have to open up your firewall and make modifications. And you really have to do some serious vetting. You got to do some psychological vetting. You got to sit your kids down and talk to them. You have to go through the phones, because the phones have no filter. I mean, they got stuff that they got your kids watching, where it'll basically tell your kids, well, yeah, this is a great whale, but 2 minutes later, it feels like a hermit crab. And you're like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Let's bring this down to the science. A great whale is 100 feet long. It can't fit in the hole of a hermit crab. Well, it feels like a hermit crab. So that's what I'm saying. You have insanity going on with the imaging of what our children watch. And that's all picked through technology, algorithms. You have all types of data scientists and things from the back end studying us. Just like that video that came out talking about the selling to a Negro in the 1950s. They studied us, and now they study us even more by our buying and spending habits, and just cultural habits, and watching everything we do. So when you're looking for something, hey, let me click on this, and then now it's pushing this to you. They watch all that through the back end, use that for algorithms specifically for black folk. So I just want to point that out. But these games meant a lot to us when we was kids. Besides Super Mario, F-Zero, Turtles in Time, Final Fight, Streets of Rage. And let me pause this real quick, because there's a documentary that I thought was very interesting that you guys might want to check out. Fair use YouTube. It's called The Story of Super Mario by the Gaming Historian. And I like watching stuff like this sometimes. Like if I always want to get away from all the BS and things that I don't really want to think about too much, it was really truly the story of Super Mario. I remember when Super Mario World came out on Super Nintendo, and it was crazy. So this is
in 2015. Retro Gamer magazine asked readers to list their top 10 video games for the magazine's 150 greatest games of all time feature.
This came out on March 6, 2022. It's a great documentary by the Gaming Historian on YouTube. If you type in Gaming Historian, and there's a lot of good stuff. They talked about pretty much everything. And like I said, I had already had a Genesis when Super Nintendo came out. I think I had a Genesis at that time, and then I think Donkey Kong Country came out eventually, and I was sick to my stomach because I had already begged my parents for a Genesis, and I should have waited. Yeah, I'm telling you, I should have waited. But that's something that's worth looking at. And just right here, where it says Part 1, the end of an era, you see the Japanese.
It was a surprising announcement, mainly because Nintendo hadn't even released Super Mario Bros. 3.
Fair use, YouTube, fair use.
Over the past summer, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto and his team within Nintendo's Entertainment Analysis and Development Group were wrapping up Super Mario Bros. 3.
Now, that was 5 minutes in. But if I look up Super Mario Brothers, and this kind of goes back. Now, the creator was Shigeru Miyamoto. Now, he was a game designer, producer, game director at Nintendo. Is he still alive to this day? Yes. Yep, he still is. He was the general manager of Nintendo from 84 to 2015. So he worked on Star Fox, F-Zero, Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong. We got to give credit where credit is due. He played an important role in Metroid Prime, When did that come out? That was on GameCube. So that was like the first person joint. You know what? I'm a set aside a little bit of time. I might have to play some of these old school games. It brings back so much positive memories. Like I said, there was really, like I say, back then there wasn't really too much where our parents were like, "Man, you can't play that. You can't." I don't really. And then we got the composers, Kojo Kondo. He's a composer. He did Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, and then Mahito Yokota. He did Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Galaxy series. Kessen, the new Super Mario Brothers on the the Nintendo U. He did Super Mario Galaxy. What was that on? GameCube looked like they had a lot of dope games and stuff like that. Oh, and he was a supervisor on the Super Mario movie. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing to have a career like that. I'm just using this, y'all, as a case study. This is a case study. I'm studying these folks. I'm studying and saying, well, yeah, these are things that black folks could be creating. And you know what, there is. And there was a brother that I actually covered in my second volume. I forgot his name, but he did a lot of stuff for Call of Duty. He scored a lot of stuff for Call of Duty. I forgot what the black man's name was. Let me see, black man, Call of Duty, music score. What was his name? Jeez. I can't remember the brother's name. Music score. Okay, Hans Zimmer did one. What is the black man? Damn man, what is his name? I cannot remember that brother's name. It's in my second book. It's in my second book that I wrote. I don't remember that dude's name for nothing, but there was a section in there that I wanted to discuss where I was just basically saying, you know, not just from an IT help desk position, system administrator, network engineer, technology is in music too. We're not just going to limit ourselves to doing password resets. No, you can open up Canva. That's IT. You can open up, you can work on AI stuff and do design, whatever. That's technology. I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm not, you might be able to learn how to use DaVinci Resolve 18. That's an editing software and stuff. I'm not limiting anything and any of us to just picking up a keyboard and just plugging up a monitor and installing Windows 10 and saying, well, that's the end of the limit. No, we can actually be behind the scenes creating VSTs for Fruity Loops or whatever like that. That's IT. People will tell you that it's not. And that is a lie. I'm telling you tonight, that's a damn lie. You don't have to just limit yourself to just doing the support. You can develop these things. You know, and as sinister as AI is, there's a lot of stuff that you might be able to do with it. I'm just putting that out there. As bad as I talk about AI and I be as much as I be hating on AI, damn it, I use it too to a certain degree. If you need something for your resume or whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying to y'all is, there's really no limit to some of the things that we can do. There's really truly no limit. Now I was talking to one of my buddies, and remember what I was telling y'all is I wanted to start promoting some black-owned businesses. On this platform, and one of my buddies had sent me, hold on, let me see if I can find it, just in case if you happen to be in the Sioux Falls and the Omaha, Nebraska area. I don't know if this brother has a website. It doesn't really look like it, but it's licensed and insured, and they do property moving. It's called Local Hauling, Perkins Property Moving. Local hauling and towing. I'm gonna have to email this brother and see if he has a website. There you go. It might be a brother or a sister that listens to this within the arm's reach or the ear reach of my voice that might say, hey, listen, I could design a website for these folks. Perkins Property Management and Moving got free estimates, tree and shrub trimming, fall cleanup, stump removal, tree removal, snow removal, rental property cleanup, appliance and furniture pickup, scrap metal, junk removal. They serve Sioux Falls and Omaha. So I think one of my homies Stack Doe was out and about, and I think he must have met somebody. Sioux Falls, was that in South Dakota? I'm not sure. But no, he gave me the information. And then see where there's chaos, there's opportunity. It doesn't look like he has a website. Let me investigate. Some people say, well, man, he ain't got no website. Well, wait a minute. Let's investigate and see if he has a website. Because if he has a website, I'll promote it. But on this flyer, I don't see a website. And sometimes people don't have websites. But as an article I read before, they said 90% of stuff is advertised, but 90% of the people that purchase stuff is offline. Let that sink in. People are still making money. Perkins Property Management. Okay. People are making money offline. People are making, okay, Perkins Property Management. I'm not seeing, okay, that's in Minneapolis. Perkins Levin Property. Okay, so I'm not seeing, he probably doesn't have a website. Maybe, he might be a young guy that gets busy or an old school guy that don't care about the internet. But that's what he does. If he could do tree removal and stump removal, that means he has the tools to do it. That means he can get that stumps. That ain't no cheap work. So I'm going to trust their gangster. Anybody on the sound of my voice that listens to this, go to beingblackandit.com and hit me up. Or send me a comment. I'll respond. Hit me up and say, hey, look, I need the information to this brother. This guy here. Richard Perkins is the owner. I got their phone number. I'm not going to just throw it out there right now, but hit me up and I'll connect. Hey, he needs a website because I don't see no website. But I'm not going to discredit their work. I'm assuming this brother does good work, whoever this is. So, yeah, there you go. Well, any website developers, it's super easy to do a GoDaddy website. I'm just saying, so... But yeah, my guy shout out to Stack Doe for sending that. Perkins Property Management. Sounds like they do a lot of stuff. I know I promised you guys I'd do a review of Zone 414. That's gonna come. Hopefully you enjoy the AI review, but that is going to come. That is definitely gonna come. I'm looking forward to doing that review as part of my movie review promise. I'm looking at some of the aesthetics of these androids and artificial intelligence and furthering that conversation and just being open to a lot of different things. Remember, we used to watch stuff like Total Recall back in the day, and we thought, oh, that ain't never gonna happen. And then you look at Boston Dynamics and you look at that Bina 48 thing and you're like, whoa. Nevertheless, that review will be coming. I do want to say that I have noticed that there has been a lot of health record, really like a lot of EMR support jobs, somewhat API, but mainly EMR. I've been seeing a lot of those remote positions. So brothers and sisters, I showed y'all on one of my last channels or one of my last videos about the EMR support openings, or not the EMR support, but how to look for remote work from home tech support positions. Because I was just thinking about that the other day. My son had got sick. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm up real late, because everybody's asleep. So, I'm doing my thing. It's 3 a.m. So I'm kind of enjoying this little bit of silence and solitude to be able to give you all this information tonight or morning. Good morning. There has been a change I've seen in a lot of this remote work. as they were trying to force everybody in. Remember, I told y'all my story about the place I was at. Oh, well, we're gonna force everybody in, and this, that, and the third, and you got to come in, and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I sent my laptop off to them the other day. Y'all can have it. I got something else going on, so like I said, I'm not gonna bark and complain. And I got something else going on. So those that know. One of my buddies had kind of pinged me and said, yeah, man, they're getting ready to make some major adjustments where they're telling everybody they got to go on site. And the thing is, it's not so much as of course, I'd rather work from home. Working from home, it has some of its limitations too. There's a lot of distractions. But it's going to take me some real mental change, just getting back around them folks. And the thing is like, I don't even really go out around a lot of people anyway. And I felt like, well, I need to start thinking about if I ever need to go back in. So that's something that I considered, and one thing I would like to say about that is like, I seen like it was a small video that they were talking about, building up your immune system. It was a brother that was showing how to make ginger shots. And so I went and bought some ginger. I bought 2 little pieces of ginger. I should have bought more. I bought 1 lime and about 4 or 5 oranges. So you just peel the oranges, cut them up a little bit, chop up the ginger and just throw it in the blender and put water in it, of course. Just fill it up with water and then put some, I ran out of the lime and I started sprinkling lemon juice in there. And, I just blend it up, and then you get a strainer, and there go your ginger shots. It's going to take a couple times for you to get it to where you want. And the lime makes it real bitter, but medicine is not supposed to taste good. But I pulled something in. I said, no, let me go ahead. Went and bought a pineapple, chopped that up. Brothers and sisters, if you go around them folks, man, we've been in corporate, man. Folks don't be washing their hands. Man, just go ahead and make you up a little tincture of that, man. Drink that every day. It's starting to taste good to me. I throw a little cayenne in it, a little cayenne pepper. But some of them folks we know, they don't be washing their hands. They do not be washing their hands, man. The pandemic didn't do anything for them. So that's something you may want to think about. I did want to give a quick little update to winter tech gear and survival gear. I told you I want to start reviewing that. What I did want to say about that is I seen something on the gram that I thought was very interesting. When you're scrolling through stuff and scrolling through the reels and all that, that's another addictive thing I need to get rid of anyway. I scrolled through a few reels and I seen something that was, I think it was a place that was based in Australia. I think some company where it's a solar powered jacket, and they think they want like a band for it or something like that. But it charges during the day and it keeps you warm at night and it's glow in the dark or something like that. And I thought that was kind of dope, but they wanted like a rack for it. And it's some company, I don't remember what the company is, but with us being in Minnesota, a lot of times I'll buy those little hand warmers. And if it's really, really cold, or if I feel cold, I'll shake up the hand warmer and I'll stick it in my glove, like those little zip ups. We have to have that up here. I know y'all, I get it, y'all. Y'all are probably like, well, damn, man, why does he? Wait a minute. We need to let's get the music going back. Let's get the music going back. Let's get the music going back, right? So, y'all are probably wondering, well, man, why does he live way up in Minnesota? Ain't no black folks in Minnesota. It's black folks in Minneapolis, y'all. Y'all still trying to figure out, why do I suffer the cold? I was born here, born and raised in. Don't y'all know Gordon Parks is from St. Paul? Renowned international photographer, one of the best in the world, the Pablo Picasso of pictures. Gordon Parks. Bet y'all didn't know he was from St. Paul, Minnesota. I bet y'all didn't know that, huh? Anyway, I hope y'all really enjoyed. I just posted up a couple different story times. I'm really liking this story time. And I'm trying to make the story time better for y'all. But sometimes I just be sitting out in the car and I just want to tell a story that I just think of. You know, I got like a list of all these stories I want to tell, but sometimes I just be in the heat of the moment. And I know the iPhone, maybe I need a new iPhone, but the quality sometimes ain't as great as it ought to be. But you know, that one with Ida B. Wells. I told y'all before that I wanted to really give the proper due. And like I say, this debt can never really be repaid. We can never really repay Ida for what she did for black folk and what she did for this country. In really just keeping it 100. She was the journalist of all journalists, man. I don't think nobody could top her journalism. I think I heard a statement that was made where one of her greatest fears was being forgotten. And you know what? I make it at my personal journey in life, y'all. Ida will never be forgotten when it comes to me. Until the day I die, I'm going to be screaming Ida B. Wells. She will never be forgotten. She will never be forgotten when it comes to, if it's up to me. It ain't going to happen. It's not about idolizing her. It's just that, you know, when we let our icons die out, that's what happens. We can't let them be forgotten, especially folks that really stood up. Especially folks that really put it all on the line to make sure we had the truth. Because at the end of the day, we're like, well, DP, this is about just getting some money. This is just about getting technology. Well, about technology and the thing is like I always tell y'all, and I'm gonna keep saying this. That's why I put this on my website. I kind of risk saying this, but I'm gonna keep it 100. These books that I wrote, even getting to this podcast. Some people do this stuff for entertainment. It's a little more than just entertainment for me and just passing time and doing things of that nature. No, the books that I wrote should have never been written. The books that I wrote, beingblackandit.com, should not exist. Well, why would you say that, DP? Why would you say that? Are you telling people not to buy the books? Black folks, we're not supposed to be in this position that we're in. But we're in it. So now I'm like, okay, just like our forefathers, we wasn't supposed to be put on boats. We weren't supposed to be slaves. We weren't supposed to be degraded. We weren't supposed to build this country and not receive a dime for it. You see what I'm saying? But we have to figure it out. We got to weave and vibe through the matrix. You know, we got to do the rope-a-dope on life. So I said, well, I didn't have anything. Turn it down a little bit. I didn't have anything like this coming in the game. I didn't have nobody to go from point A to point B. Like I say, it was literally Netscape Navigator, maybe Yahoo, and you buy your computer parts and then you go into the lion's den. I was like Daniel in the lion's den. And the first brother that I'm gonna do a story about him too, man. I'm gonna do a story about that dude. I got to, because the first introduction to a brother was a plantation Negro. I'm just gonna keep it 100, man. I'm not gonna cut no chase. Y'all tune into me because you ain't trying to get no Roland Martin analysis. You trying to get the real deal Holyfield. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. You ain't really trying to get no fake Negro stuff. You came here for a reason. You see what I'm saying? I'm not down on nobody. I'm just saying, man, like when I was a young black man and I came in, the first dude that I ran into, hey brother, how you doing? He was on some, man, no, we ain't brothers. Negro. I'm like, whoa. I said, oh man. I said, uh-oh. That was my first introduction, was a Sambo at the job. He was very uncomfortable about me being on some, hey man, just trying. I might be just trying to get a little game. I didn't come in asking for no handouts or whatever. He made it clear, man. Ain't no blackity black stuff going on or whatever, man. We ain't doing none of that. He made it. He pulled the Django Unchained on me right out the gate and let me know, ain't none of this brother, none of this, man. I was like, whoa. And then I said, okay, I'm not gonna deny this brother work hard. So he's probably coming from the standpoint like, I don't want to get too close to any black folks because I don't want to lose my position. So he's reaping the benefits from a Sambo position. He's reaping the positions from a Sambo position. He wasn't really doing like the dude I told you where I worked at, and I can say it now. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I was at Boston Scientific. I was at Boston Scientific, man. I was at a company called Boston Scientific by way of TCS. It was this dude, and I talked about that in my first book, where it was this brother where, I mean, he was cooning it up heavy. And I had to pull the brother to the side, like, man, bro, at least get some benefits, man. I just want to be accepted. I said, oh, man, I felt so bad for the brother. I said, bro, if you going to throw me under the bus, man, and you going to play the plantation role, get some money. Do the spook by the door, spook the sat by the door, and at least get something out of it. I said, bro, you ain't even getting no money out. These folks, they ain't gonna promote you. Well, they been talking about it, man. I mean, he's going back and forth, and he's trying to undermine me. He's just being a say, man, let's hang out. And yeah, I know rappers and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, oh man, I could kind of tell. And then I remember one, okay, DP, are you gonna say it? I'm gonna say it. We in the lunchroom, and he has this little Asian chick, nice looking chick. I could see why he had her, because he was just wrapped all around her. So I could kind of see where his head was at. Like he was one of these Negroes where, man, go ahead and give me a white woman or an Asian and minority coalition, and the hell with being black, and let me spy on this Negro kind of type of thing. And that's why I said I had to pull that brother to the side. Once I seen what he was doing, I pulled the brother to the side. I said, bro, are they paying you for this, man? No, man, they ain't giving me no extra money. And he was really playing both sides of the fence. And I'm like, man, at least if you gonna be a Sambo, man, get paid. Get paid, man. Be a Van Jones. Be like him. You see what I'm saying? And so, that was the, oh man, shout out to Cooking Soul. Are we still going? Yes, sir. Oh, we going. It's 3:18 a.m. We still going. So yeah, that was my just hell of a segue. Y'all gotta stop me from just going off the deep end. I should do a story on that dude. But that's what I'm saying. We get in these situations, and sometimes, like when I was coming in, you didn't really have too many brothers that you saw. So my introduction was B.A. Bob. Getting back to the story time. I hope y'all enjoyed my story time. B.A. Bob. I think I'm gonna do another story time of Trailer Trash Bob. I talked about Trailer Trash Bob as one of the classifications in my second book. You've met a Trailer Trash Bob. Trailer Trash Bob was in the same place where I met the brother on one of my first contracts that wanted to really, really kind of keep his distance. So once I seen that, I kind of said, okay, well, let me just go and do my work, whatever the case may be. Like I say, I'm fresh out of a 1200 blood sugar, 1200. My sugar was 1200. I had diabetes around that time. I literally almost died. You know what I'm saying? So I just started that contract. Trailer Trash, that was my first Trailer Trash Bob that I met. I'm going to make a story time on Trailer Trash Bob. I'm going to maybe do that tomorrow. I'm just going to keep it coming. Y'all got the attention of a goldfish. I was first like, well, let me span it out. Spanning it out got me in this situation in the first place. I should have 1,000 subscribers right now. Y'all should be sharing and subscribing to me left and right, but y'all got the attention of a goldfish. Yeah, y'all got the attention of a goldfish. So I'm just gonna keep on giving y'all what y'all want. Y'all just want a whole bunch of videos where you click, 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 click. Okay, fine. So yeah, I'll give y'all a story on Trailer Trash Bob. Trailer Trash Bob. I don't even really need no notes. I was gonna put some notes down. But back to Ida B. Wells, man. I think I'm gonna do another story time on Ida B. Wells because she meant so much to us, man. We can't forget folks like that. And to give some clarification where I could talk about it more, I brought up that tweet that John Lewis said about getting beat by the cops and saying he never hated them, and he said, "I'll thank you for your service." A lot of people probably get that really misconstrued. Let's do Cooking Soul Volume 4. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. I hope they don't ding me. And I know Cooking Soul didn't make all these beats. They sampled this stuff, so I don't know. They might have paid for them, whatever. Anyway, shout out to Cooking Soul. When you have a situation, when you have people where they say, well, we're representing civil rights and we did this because of this, we did that because of that. You don't tell nobody, you don't put nobody like that against Ida B. Wells in an article. You don't do that. To me, that was disrespectful to me, because I know based on her work, she wouldn't have stood by saying you get beat and then you accept it and say, well, you never hated them, and you say, I thank you for your service. That's plantation talk. Well, DP, why you bring that up? You're on the tech channel. Well, damn it, Ida B. Wells did journalism. And when we look at a lot of journalism on the megalomaniacal, masochistic mainstream media, when we look at a lot of that that's pushed through a lot of this technology to us, that same talk is the same talk. It's eugenic talk. It's the same talk that they push out to our kids about, well, on this is technology, TikTok, Twitter, the sexy reds, the hood rat Hellcat talk, the get beaten and just accepted talk. That gets pushed out to all of our technology platforms. You see what I'm saying? So it's coming from the spiritual side, the political side, the economical side. The thing is I can keep talking this tech shit, but I'm still black. And that's my point. You still black. You're not impervious to this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're dealing with the tech jobs. You're dealing with this. You still got to deal with society. So, it was important for me to say, Ida B. Wells didn't get to do she did. I'm going to use that as a basis for telling the truth in my tech book. Because the thing is the hell with technology, I'm still black. Technology, I'm going to be dead and gone. I'm going to be dead and gone and somebody's still going to be black. And it's still going to be technology. Y'all check out www.beingblackandit.com. Go ahead and get that book if you haven't. What else do we got here? What else do we got? I want to showcase something else. There was something here, and I thought this was very, very important, because remember what I said is the first book I said is you don't need a college degree. Well, I got in the game without a college degree. Now, there was something from the Daily Mail that, shout out to our brother on LinkedIn. He sent this, Mr. Morton. Make sure you go subscribe to that brother living off the grid. I wanted to give a shout out to Rashad Morton. Our brother that came up with the term black lining that I put in the book. Is an AWS dude. He is a YouTube. Let's make sure we get this correct. So he has a YouTube channel called Black Tech Networks and Keep It Techie. Oh no, oh no, I'm sorry. There's another brother that got Keep It Techie. Okay, he got a good subscriber count. Okay. So yeah, Rashad Morton, that brother came up with the term black lining. He came up with the term black lining. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and look at this. Keep It Techie. This brother has a year ago he streamed a conversation with this brother. So I'm gonna go take a look at that. I'm gonna go take a look at that, absolutely. But anyway, he posted in the LinkedIn, thedailymail.com. And it talked about, it says how the college degree lost its value. Nearly half of U.S. companies plan to axe bachelor degree requirements after Walmart, Accenture, and IBM led the charge. Now, this came out December 1st, 9:47 Eastern Standard Time. 45% of companies plan to eliminate bachelor degrees. 55% said they already eliminated the bachelor's degrees in 2023. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this article. I'm going to go ahead and read this article here. And this will probably showcase a little bit of my gospel in my first book. Nearly half of U.S. companies intend to eliminate bachelor degree requirements for some job positions next year, a new survey has revealed. 55% said they already eliminated degree requirements this year, according to an Intelligent.com survey of 800 U.S. employers carried out in November. It comes after Walmart, IBM, Accenture, Bank of America, and Google announced similar plans. The survey found that the same employers that had already eliminated bachelor degree requirements were more likely to continue doing so. So I'm looking at this picture here, and it says the companies that plan to eliminate bachelor degree requirements for some positions in 2024, 45% will eliminate it. 39% will not, because of course they want to deal with the status quo, keeping Negroes out. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Well, DP, you're so racial. You keep looking at stuff from a racial point of view. Yep, sure do. See, my ideology is you could do the job, you could do the job. And I understand that when you start putting pieces of paperwork in front of people, you're going to say, well, this person maybe cannot do it. This person could maybe not do it. At the same time, I understand where they figure, well, if you get up and you go to work, if you get up, if you get your degree, if you get up and you go to work, you should be able to, or if you get up and you get this degree, that shows that you could get up and go to work. I'm sorry. So let me go ahead and close this. I think I need some more RAM. Let me go ahead and close this. But these companies are seeing that we're getting to the point in society, it shouldn't be about this. And the thing is, they knew this already. Then down here, it says here, for example, Accenture launched an apprenticeship program in 2016 through which it has hired since hired 1,200 people, CNBC reported. Now, I wanted to say this to y'all. Remember last time they had that program? It was one of my programs I talked about where it was Wells Fargo was working with some organization. I forgot what the organization was. I can't remember. But it was very, very recent. Let me close this video. It's taking a lot of bandwidth. Damn, come on, Daily Mail. You got some janky ads. I'm getting news for free, so I better not complain. How do you close this? Jeez. I don't like being on this site, man. So they had like an apprenticeship program, and they must got the message. I don't know if they was listening to Professor Black Truth or DBA or what, but they said Black Americans. They finally said the word. They must have been listening to us because, you know, we must have been on their coattail because they finally said the word. But right here it says some 80% of those people joined the company without a four-year degree. Earlier this year, the company expanded the program with the goal of filling 20% of U.S. entry-level positions. Quote, a person's education credentials are not the only indicators of success, so we advance our approach to hiring to focus our skills, experiences, and potential. Now, this is from the CEO of Accenture North America, Jimmy Etheridge, told the outlet. Now, on the side note, I'm seeing here, they got this thing. These videos are killing me. How do you stop these videos? So somebody send me an email to stop these videos. Damn it. All right. Some IT tech I am. Keep skipping the ads. And geez, they're killing me. Hold on. Now, the industry's dropping degree requirements. 72% of them is from information services, 62% software, finance and insurance, 61%, construction, 55%, healthcare and social assistance, 42%, and education, 35%. In October, Walmart eliminated college degrees as a requirement for hundreds of its corporate roles, saying it would get rid of unnecessary barriers that prevent career advancement. It said job applicants would start seeing updated job descriptions next year. In particular, it said it will waive the need for a university degree if candidates can show they have gained the necessary skills through alternative prior experience. Now, that's subjective, y'all. But like I say, as Dwayne Lightfoot says, or was it Lightyear? Lab every day. You get you AWS, you get some of these AI tools, you get some of GCP, you get some of Azure, whatever the case may be, and you start messing with these IAM roles. You start doing some, you get your old desktop that's in your grandma's basement and you do a migration. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and spend that money, man. Go ahead and get you a lab and start doing some of these different things and breaking and fixing stuff in the cloud. That just might be your alternative prior experience. I got a whole chapter in the second book talking about that. I don't remember. It's 500 pages. It's 500 pages. Shout out to my 500-page book where I don't remember hardly anything. Y'all, my carpal tunnel was done. I'm walking around with Frankenstein hands. I feel like I got nuclear fire in my hands every time I get up to go to work. To give y'all that damn book, I did 500 pages of typing. I gave y'all the Ida B. Wells version of tech, and now I got, I don't know if it's arthritis or what. They want to give me an injection in my hands. I can barely type anymore. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Just learn. The cloud is just a big data center. It's just a big online data center. There's a lot of free trials and things. You can go on LinkedIn and get down with Black Tech Networks where Rashad and them, and they got they post a lot of good stuff. I don't be on LinkedIn every day. I don't be on LinkedIn every day. I'll log in every now and then. I don't know what's going on. But y'all get on LinkedIn and get into that Black Tech Networks. Don't go in there with no Sambo or no Tether Talk, though. Don't do it. If you ain't getting on, don't do it. But, if you the real deal Holyfield, you're a brother, you want to help the brethren in the diaspora, yeah, go ahead and go over there, man. You're going to get a lot of good information. But, man, just go ahead and get you get a tech setup and get into the mindset of peace and quiet. Play you some Florence B. Price and start migrating some of that old data. Find out how to migrate some of that old data from a physical desktop into the cloud and slap that on your resume. That's what you do. Now, listen to this. It says, while degrees should be part of the equation and in some cases even required, there are many roles where a degree is simply unnecessary. I agree with that, including at corporate headquarters, a blog post from the retailer read. But while some companies appear to be spearheading the movement, those that haven't made changes thus far appear less likely to do so in the future. Now, I wanted to, before I go further with this article, I wanted to kind of touch on when I talked about the EMR, electronic medical records. A lot of times that stuff is based in like either SQL or some APIs on the back end. So a lot of those they'll call it tier 3 ops or API support or something like that. You're opening up Postman. I got a whole chapter on Postman. I paid a guy from, I think it was somewhere from India, to write me up a whole Postman tutorial on how to use Postman and some of those API tools. I've used Insomnia. It's pretty much the same thing. Man, those positions pay a lot sometimes. They call them business system analyst or business system consultant. That's typically what they call them. Okay. Now, with those positions, they don't have, unless you get into more some BA work and project management, once you kind of learn Postman, you're not really doing anything from it. You're just looking at data. You see what I'm saying? So the way that they describe those in the job, they make it seem like it's more than what it is. So you'll float by with just learning Postman and learning how to manipulate ServiceNow and things of that nature. And then they'll start talking about EMI records and all of that. And a lot of those different positions you're working with, if it's patient data, immunization records, or whatever the case may be, if it's something like that, you might have to open up another task in ServiceNow where another team has to make a modification. It gets really, really, really complex when it comes to EMR data because of HIPAA being involved, and you got different teams. Like, I've worked on places where the team will say, well, only American workers could work on this data because there's certain laws in place. So when it comes to IT, it's when you say IT, some people say, well, computer science ain't IT. Well, it kind of is and ain't. I say it is, but then they be like, okay, well, it's not break fix, so you're not implementing, you're not developing, so it's not IT. They usually separate computer science, and then you might have cybersecurity, and then so when it comes to this tech stuff, now DevOps, you're doing deployment. You might have a little bit of understanding, of course, of the software life cycle. So when you say it's IT, DevOps, I mean, yeah, but there's some people that would tell you, no, it's not. It's DevOps. It's its own world. All right. For example, people say, well, and we've abandoned this, but people still use it. African American. Well, we've never been to Africa. We're 400 to 500 years removed. Yeah, we know about Shaka Zulu. We know about, we know about the minerals of Africa. We know about the majesty of Africa, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but we don't know anything about it. We haven't been there. We don't know. I can't tell you that I got family right over there. I could just call up and just know I'm 300 to 400 years lost. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, yeah, my folks here in the last couple hundred years, yeah, they built the country. So yeah, some people say, okay, African American. Well, I'm saying I'm a foundational black. Somebody might say, well, I'm a Hebrew. Oh, well, I'm a descendant of slaves. I'm a descendant of enslaved America. Yeah, it's the same, but folks may be like, well, no, I'm this. Oh, I'm an indigenous American. I think that we've been here, and I think a couple of us came over here before Columbus and all. Okay, so IT, cybersecurity. Some people may say, well, that's not IT. Oh, yeah, cybersecurity is IT. DevOps, well, that ain't IT. Well, you're dealing with Kubernetes and you're dealing with Docker and all of that kind of stuff, so you're still dealing with the life cycle. Some people may say, well, that ain't IT. It's tech. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, I just loop it all in one. But there is some different variations, and it's very, very wide and broad, and it gets very broad and ambiguous. It'll get there. So when I'm talking about API support, you don't really have to know too much about help desk to get into that. But how do you get into that door? Because like I say, it's a business system analyst position. That doesn't mean anything. That's a very, very vague word. That could mean anything. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times they don't like titling those positions because they know they're supposed to be paying you $85,000. So they'll say, well, it's ops support. Well, what the hell is ops support? Well, I want a burger. Okay, do you want a Whopper? Do you want a Big Mac? Do you want a Juicy Lucy? Oh, I want a burger. Okay, well, yeah, just send me a burger. You get up there, they pick your burger. Ain't no ketchup. Where's my mushrooms and Swiss? Well, sir, you didn't say you want a mushroom and Swiss. You just said you want a burger. You see what I'm saying? So it gets into that. But what I say, some of these positions y'all want to look for. Oh, this cooking soul is so good. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all, real quick. When you're looking at API support, a lot of times it may not say API support. It'll say something in regards to EMI. It might say SQL, but nine times out of 10, it's going to say something about Postman, or it's going to say something about Insomnia. It might say something about EMR. So, and those positions typically pay 28 to 35 an hour contract. They're really supposed to pay 80,000 or more. I'm just giving y'all the game. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go back here where it says some companies appear to be spearheading the movement. Those that haven't made changes thus far appear less likely to do so in the future. So you're going to have some companies that's going to basically say, we want a company man. We want a bachelor's. We want to, and putting the 10-4 kufi on, I don't know, but I'm starting to get into the mindset, because the thing is, I've worked with people with associates, bachelor's, masters. I've met some brothers that got masters that can't get the job because, as Dr. Umar says, they're overqualified. So I think it's just a status quo thing when it comes to the bachelors, when some companies are like, well, you know what? I want you to live and die on the sword with me. I want you to be in debt. I want you to spend that time and investment to qualify to walk through my door. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where some of that bachelor comes through. So it says among the companies that didn't eliminate bachelor degrees in 2023, 9% said they anticipate doing so next year. As part of the survey, employees were also asked what type of positions they were most likely to eliminate degree requirements for. And we already covered that. 95% of the employers who have bachelor degree requirements, 24% require these degrees for 3/4 of the jobs. 27% say they require a degree for half of the positions. I still ain't got a degree. Remember, I told y'all, I started my degree in 2012. I guess I was lollygagging around, or I guess not. I mean, I was supposed to have that degree within a couple years. It's a 2-year degree. I was taking classes, just bits and pieces. I was already in the game. I really, really didn't need to go to Century College, but it wasn't a bad experience. But I'm telling y'all, man, let them pay for your degree. I stopped going and I started doing tech training classes. I was a subcontractor for a nonprofit to get black folks certified in South Minneapolis so they can get certified. And I hooked up their resume, crafted their resume, and sent them over to a lot of them recruiting firms like Tech Systems, Robert Half, and all that. So I didn't feel the need to really get my degree because that's not where my heart was. I didn't really give a damn no more. The hell with this degree. I said my heart was helping black folk. That was my intention. Now it says right here, and we'll wrap this up pretty quick, y'all. Hold on, let's get us some more music. Let's get us a little bit more music. Let's go to NK Music. I hope that, come on, don't ding me, man. Don't ding me. Maybe I'll lower the volume or something. I don't know. Oh, this sounds good. Okay, let's open this back up here. So, as part of the survey, employers were also asked what type of positions they were most likely to eliminate degree requirements for. Okay, we already said that. Okay. A report published by the Burning Glass Institute last year described the growing trend of cutting degrees as a requirement as an essential step in reducing inequity in the American labor market. Yeah, because you're cutting people out. Let me close this. It's taking way too much bandwidth. Daily Mail, sometimes they'll keep it real with a lot of stuff. They'll keep it 100 with a lot of stuff. Like they had this article from the Daily Mail. Daily Mail. That's how I knew, and this is pertinent, y'all. One of the deal breakers where I left the last employer, where they were talking about, well, you got to be in, you have to come in, or else. That was a deal breaker for me, because with me being a diabetic, I said no. There's literally no reason for me to come in and be around y'all folks like that, especially when you told us that we would never have to come in office ever. And they lied over and over and over again. And then they said, okay, we want the autonomy, and we want, basically I think it was more of a control ethic thing or whatever. If I would have known that from the gate, that's a different story. I haven't really got super sick. So I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not saying this stuff doesn't exist. I know it does. But, when I went to the doctor, I'm telling her, I said, man, go ahead and write me something up where I can just work remote. They're like, oh, no, you can go ahead and take the jab. It's cool. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. No, I haven't had no problem so far. No. So, but that was the position they took. And she told me, she was honest. She said, man, a lot of employers ain't going. They want you to take the jab. They feel like you should be able to take that, and that should be your Captain America shield to protect you from the evildoers. And you should go ahead. Basically, she said the employers feel like you should just take it. Just take it and come into office. Because everybody's just fine. And this pandemic is over. And everything, the world saved. And, Dono saved the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they wouldn't, long story short, they wouldn't write nothing for me. They basically like, man, the employers, they're not going to go for it. And so, I wrote that in that was a part of my 2-week notice. And y'all heard what I wrote. Like, no, I'm cool. I'm not going to go along with it. And, that was pretty much it. So I seen another article here, and I know that this was covered before. I was listening to the business channel with TBA. We was breaking it down, talking about like, well, PBS Frontline was talking about how 401k, and I think I was listening to that at night, but 401k was never designed to be a retirement plan. If you didn't put in since you was 19 years old from the get-go, if you didn't put that money in and if you were constantly employed, it's really not going to work for you. But right here I see the Daily Mail saying how saving an extra $25 a week in your 401k could add over $200k to your retirement fund depending on when you start. But he's right again, because it says right here that a 25-year-old could add $200,000 to the retirement plan by adding an extra $100 a month. Now, experts calculated how much each age group could stand out if they invested the sum into their 401k compared to a traditional savings account. And I had a chapter saying, hey, is 401k worth it? That was on my second book. I did talk about that. I was asking the question. But I'm just going to go down here to this graphic. And it says how much $100 adds to a worker's retirement plan. It says personal experts at Go Banking Rates calculated how much each age group stand to make if they invested $100 each month into 401k until now, from now until they turn 65. And it shows right here 25 years old. Starting at 25. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't really start messing with 401. I didn't take it serious and really start messing with 401 seriously, man, until I'm trying to think, was it 401 or it was, I really genuinely did not have that understanding of 401k until just years ago, which is actually quite sad, about retirement and things of that nature. I really didn't have a true understanding, until my 30s. And that's not good. That's not good at all. It's really not. But just looking at this, when I look back, and like sometimes, I got a brother that emailed me the other day. He said, "Man, how do I get in the game or whatever? I read your book. I'm taking some classes." I'm like, "Man, just send me your resume, bro." Because I know that a lot of times, just like when I started, I didn't understand how to manipulate words to display my skill set. When I get into an interview, I can just go and I can say what I need to say. I'm able to articulate what I know. But you have to be able to convey that on the resume. And it's getting very, very, very competitive out here. It's getting competitive economically. It's getting competitive when it comes to the jobs, and it's getting competitive. And it's always been competitive, but it's getting even more competitive. So my thing was, if you send me your resume, that's going to tell me about you. That's your representative, right? If your resume looks janky, the employer assumes you look janky. And see, I'm able to kind of look at it and say, all right, well, you got a little bit too much. Cut the trap off. Cut this off. This stepped on dope right here. This is stepped on dope right here. You gotta modify this right here, and then now you gotta convey it. Now you gotta convey it. Okay, what do you know? Well, I know how to do this. We gotta make it look good. Because some of us, we know a lot, we can do a lot, but we're not able to convey it in an interview, and we're not able to translate and transfer that information into confidence when it comes to an interview. I posted a few interviews, and I'm going to keep posting them. Each time I take an interview, I'm going to post that to y'all. So y'all could kind of see, where I fumbled at, or if you could get some game from it, or whatever the case may be, because a lot of them is going to be remote. Because when I get on an on-site interview, I nail it. I'm real good at eye contact and asking questions and explaining myself. Sometimes on a Zoom, you're just looking at the screen. It's kind of funny, but when I'm on site, I give it to them. And the only reason why I don't get the interview sometimes is because I just might not have the experience they might need. That's it. I'm one of the best interviewers that I know. So I say just send me the interview, man. Or the resume. Send me the resume. And let me review it so I can just take a quick look and say, well, gets cut all this out or gets formulated. A lot of times people have good resumes, but they're all over the place, or a lot of times what people be doing, they'll start saying, I work here, my interest is no. You don't use I. You're not going on a date. You're trying to get a job. So, you just want to use real, layman's terms and real robotic, like, okay, this is maybe some numbers, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to make your resume sound interesting, and you want it to be a story, and then when you get the story, you want to be able to tell the story. The last article we're going to cover is from the Defender, and this happens to talk about technology and 5G. And there was a 49-year-old that said he developed severe heart problems after a new 5G antenna was installed. It says within a week of a 5G cell tower being activated near his home, 49-year-old Swedish man developed severe heart symptoms that forced him to flee his home, according to a new peer-reviewed case study. Now, we're going to go immediately into that. And it's a case study by Gavin Publishers, by the Swedish Radiation Protection Foundation of Adelso, Sweden, and the Environment and Cancer Research Foundation of Örebro, Sweden. The corresponding author is Lennart Hardell, the Environment and Cancer Research Foundation in Örebro, Sweden. This was published on November 8th, 2023. Or November 13th, I'm sorry. Now, the abstract is: the deployment of the 5th generation for wireless communication has been rolled out in Sweden since 2019-2020. This has caused increased high pulse radio frequency radiation. In 4 case reports, we have described persons that developed the microwave syndrome soon after installation of 5G base stations close to their residence or in office. In this new case report, a 49-year-old previously healthy man is described. A 5G base station was installed 20 meters from his apartment. He rather immediately developed a variety of symptoms that are part of the microwave syndrome. Most severe were headache, abnormal sensation, loss of immediate memory, high and irregular pulse, chest squeeze, burning, and lancinating skin. Very high RF radiation was measured in his apartment, however, much lower than the limits recommended by the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection. After moving to another apartment with low RF radiation, the symptoms disappeared or decreased within a short period of time, but they reappear whenever he returns to his apartment close to the 5G antennas. This must be regarded as a provocation test on health and 5G radiation. Now, this ain't plebiscite babble. These are scientists and people that know what the hell they're doing. And they have references for that, these scholarly articles. And that's why I went to a lot of scholarly articles from scientists and professors and people that know what the hell they're talking about when I did my second book. A lot of scholarly articles. So I'm going to continue this article here. The case study, published November 13th in the Journal of Community Medicine and Public Health, reported that the man's symptoms immediately lessened when he took refuge in an apartment without 5G radiation. But each time he returned to his original home to collect his belongings, the symptoms returned. This is the 5th scientific report by Dr. Lennart Hardell, a world-leading scientist on cancer risk from radiation, and Mona Nielsen on the human health effects of real 5G radio frequency radiation. So this ain't no plebiscite Mars reparation babble. These are people that know what the hell they're doing. Now let me look this guy up real quick. Okay. This dude's even on Wikipedia. He's a Swedish oncologist at Örebro University Hospital. He's known in research for environmental cancer-causing agents, and said that cell phones increase the risk of brain tumors. Now, it looks like Hardell testified in a 2002 U.S. court case involving a man who filed a lawsuit claiming that his cell phone caused him to develop a brain tumor. The judge in the case dismissed the suit and criticized Hardell's testimony, saying that two of the studies Hardell cited, one found no increased risk. But what about the other one? Blake added that the other study was criticized as flawed by experts and said that numerous studies and governmental bodies had come to conclusions that ran contrary to Hardell's opinion. Well, when I hear anything about government bodies, do we all trust governmental bodies? And this man is still at the damn hospital. He has 355 publications. European assessments of radio frequency radiation health risks. Another hard nut to crack. Well, yeah, I guess he's not good enough for the government. Okay, but he's a scientist, right? And he's an epidemiologist with the Environmental and Cancer Research Foundation. He's authored more than 350 papers, 60 of them to address 60 of them to address the topic of RF radiation. Nilsson, managing director of the Swedish Radiation Protection Foundation, has been researching the human impacts of 5G with Hardell for more than 3 years. She told the Defender, "This study further strengthens the findings of our previous case studies, which consistently showed 5G caused very high microwave radiation exposure, rapidly provoked the onset of severe symptoms typical of microwave syndrome, sometimes called RF sickness." This is at the Defender. Suzanne Burdick, PhD, wrote the article. Sometimes I read from the Defender, Children's Health Defense News. Yeah, these ain't no small cookies. This dude's still at the hospital. So I guess he's not telling the truth because the government agency saying, well, his article ain't this and ain't that. I'll trust a scientist and some punk ass politician sitting behind a desk with his suit and tie. How about that? Hey, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you hit the notification bell for all notifications, because I've been told that some people that have subscribed, they got to subscribe again. So I don't know if YouTube is saying, hey, we ain't liking what he's saying. I'm like, damn, I only got about 78 subscribers. We need 1,000. Let's get us up to 500. Y'all know I be talking my SHI. Let's get us up to 500 ASAP. If they messing with me now, I can't imagine what it's going to be if they going to shadow ban me then. Make sure y'all go to www.beingblackandit.com. Like, share, subscribe, hit that all notification bell. And we going to do another story time. Well, what's the story time, DP? The next story time is going to be... What's the next story time going to be? It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. Y'all will see it when it posts. Over and out.